nature of the crimes that they're chasing this person for, but it also, Bruce, could be the nature of this chase in the actions that this person has taken so far, because clearly this person is willing to do anything that they need to do to get away. We've watched him recklessly drive and actually make contact with other vehicles. When does that start to change how they might chase this person? Because look, again, going onto the shoulder, really coming close to vehicles and sideswiping them very possibly.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a study done years ago, and there were so many people that were injured or uninvolved third-party accidents due to police chases. So they kind of want to give the suspect room, give him distance. Time is on the officer's side. They have a helicopter, they have radios. So they don't want to get right on top of him to force him to drive any more dangerously than he is.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. As we watch this, and we do know that the watch commanders, they have to talk about what to do with this. We are also learning that this person might be armed, so that may play a factor in why police are absolutely desperate to capture this person. We don't know exactly the weapon, Philip. I haven't heard that. I just know that we are learning that, our
officers are thinking it could be a high-capacity rifle, an AR. So they're highly concerned. We're not talking about a handgun. We're talking about the possibility of a rifle. And again, you can see in their actions, they are aggressively going after this person. So they clearly think that there is a very real danger to the community to allow a person who might have this type of weapon in the community.
Which also,
Philip,
Bruce.
you know what? I'm sorry, Colleen. One of the other things too is now you stop the vehicle and you do a felony traffic stop or a high-risk traffic stop. And as Philip said, if this person has an assault weapon or some sort of high-capacity weapon, now the officers are thinking way ahead. What do we do if we stop them? How do we contain it? How do we control it?
That is, so, I think, Bruce, we talk about it multiple times. There's no routine traffic stop for officers. Every time they stop a car, it could look like a minivan with a family inside. Those are still very tense for officers. So let alone right now, you have information this suspect is a possible robbery suspect or at least a grand theft auto suspect. They may be armed with an AR rifle, which is a very, very dangerous weapon. Now they have to figure out, what do you do? I mean, are you just hoping this person will run out of gas? Because obviously these are gas guzzlers. And then you have to figure out, do you start trying to get SWAT or any of these, Bearcat sort of armored vehicles to be part of this pursuit?
Yeah, definitely. The call has already been made to, in this case, probably LAPD SWAT in the West LA area that, hey, we have a pursuit suspect coming to you. He's possibly armed with a high caliber weapon of some sort. It is a felony crime. So it meets all the criteria for a SWAT call out. But then again, as you said, when this person stops, do they run out of gas? And then it becomes a SWAT problem, meaning the regular patrol officers will not be involved in this operation beyond the actual traffic stop.
Well, we're also getting a few details on this vehicle, and when you combine it with the fact that this chase started in Bakersfield, you start to wonder how long this chase can go, because we're hearing this is a V6, but it's a turbocharged vehicle, so they've been on the road for a little while. And there is the possibility that at some point this vehicle starts to have issues with how far they can travel. And if you do end up with a standoff and you think that this person has an assault rifle, you have to worry about the community as well as officer safety. So and if you're on the freeway when they might run out of gas. So there are so many variables here, Bruce, as well as the danger with that vehicle while he's driving. It really is, there are wild cards in this one that seem to be unlike many of the chases that we've watched recently.
Yeah, and that's why as law enforcement, there's plan A, there's plan B, there's plan C, and there may be plan D and E too, because now you got the vehicle stopped They have a high capacity magazine, a weapon, an automatic. Where do those rounds go if this suspect were to engage the officers? Those rounds are going to keep going downrange at a high rate of speed.
Yeah, and I am curious and worried. You know, some of these cars, they don't know that there's a chase that's happening, and once they start seeing all the police cruisers behind them and the helicopters, they realize something's happening. They just don't exactly know what. But again, I'm concerned because this is a turbocharged V6. We know that those suckers do go through a lot of fuel, and if he has or she, we don't exactly know the suspect. It looks like it's a male suspect driving that car. We don't know if there's anybody else inside the vehicle. But if they were to be so desperate to get away from police that they try to carjack somebody on the freeway, it's just very, very concerning when you see this.
Yeah, those are all variables that the police are thinking about, and I'm sure they're talking on the radio about. The other thing, too, is in a pursuit, the lead car will drop off, and maybe the secondary car will take over because there is a fatigue factor, a tunnel vision factor of the officers. They're so focused on this vehicle that another CHP car, in this case, probably the second or third one, is calling the pursuit. And what I mean by that is they're talking about direction of travel, speed, traffic conditions, the wants on the vehicle. And those are all things that the watch commander, as you guys have said before, they're constantly reevaluating.
And here we go again. This person driving to the shoulder, impatient, not wanting to deal with congestion and moving to the shoulder, accelerating up. In this case, only about 70 miles an hour, but still increasing over what the rate of speed is. And that's what is concerning as I watch it. When you have a rate of speed of 50 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, and then somebody comes by you 30 miles an hour faster on the shoulder, you know, with a vehicle that's larger, that can cause damage if there's somebody that somehow ends up getting hit. And we've seen that. We don't want to see that in this circumstance because, again, this person is weaving in and out of traffic. We think that they've hit on that one side. We've watched them run into a vehicle from behind. We actually might even have video of that where they came up on somebody and then there's the video to the right there where they just bumped them, got them out of the way when they were trying to continue forward. And we've seen that happen a couple of times. But then here live on the left, you see them weaving in and out of traffic on the 10 westbound. But again, as we've said before, at some point you start to run out of real estate because you are heading westbound and you're going to run into an area where you're just no longer on the freeway.
Yeah, and Philip, you hit it right on the head. You're dealing with a vehicle that's larger, that has more tonnage. So even though it's only maybe going 70 miles an hour, however, if it were to impact another vehicle going slower, this is going to be a severe impact.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And also as we've been watching this driver really taking some risky moves here on the 10 West, we have seen that they no longer have a rear view mirror on their passenger side. We've seen it hit a car and then we said hit another car, sideswipe it, where then it actually just fell right off. So we know that they don't have a complete view around their vehicle. We don't know if it's their vehicle, but they certainly are driving it like they know how to drive a large vehicle because these aren't like little race cars. This is a big, heavy Ford Explorer.
Well, and one of the things that is possible here, and Bruce might even be able to talk about it, because there's nowhere for this person to go really on this freeway. We know anybody that has gone west, you know that at some point there are just a few exits to be able to take. We're getting word that there are the opportunities, whether it's Fairfax or National, CHP is able to kind of position themselves ahead of the chase with spike strips. And so, Bruce, you know, at some point, this person's going to have to get off the freeway, and those are options to possibly get a spike strip. And we're getting word that they might be planning that. So this is advantageous to a degree because the person has gotten on a freeway and they can get ahead of them.
Yeah, the nice thing about that, like you just said, with the spike strips is traffic gets a little more congested. CHP can run some traffic breaks in those two areas, Fairfax and National, and even going La Cienega further going west. so that maybe they can put strike strips down. But the biggest factor is they have to control the traffic in that operational area.
Yeah. Again, we know you are going to be approaching, you know, if you just drop off in Santa Monica, it leads you right down to the ocean. So we know this is an area that's heavily congested. We're also learning a little bit more about this vehicle because, you know, we're talking about how much
Looks like
gas.
he hit one. Looks like he hit one. See the front left?
I didn't see it, Philip.
The front left looks
yeah.
like he might have lost some air.
Yeah, you're right. We were looking at the suspension earlier, Bruce. I'm not sure if you can see it as well, but it does look like the front driver's side tire looks like it's having issues.
He's drifting, and again, those spike strips don't cause it to go out immediately without air. They slowly lose air because you don't want the suspect to completely lose control of the vehicle, cause it to roll and cause damage to a lot of different people. They slowly lose air, and that looks like that tire is now borderline on the rim. And what's going to happen is the rubber, the tire will eventually just start to peel away. That will heat up. And there have been times where it will just, you'll see it to start smoking and they'll either lose control. But the two front tires, actually, we're getting word that even the right-hand side might be gone. But he will lose control of that vehicle. He's not going to be able to steer that vehicle very well. He'll have to go in a straight line. But Bruce, now what happens? So you get what you want. The chase stops. But if this person does have an assault rifle, now what do you do?
Well, as you said, it does appear the left front and possibly the right front are deflating, and he's going to be on the rims probably very shortly. However, when the vehicle stops, as most police cars and agencies years ago went with AR-15s, meaning they have a military-type assault weapon in the vehicle. So they're going to match firepower with firepower.
I know, but
that is something that happens, and it's a very dangerous situation. But if this guy were to come out, and we'll assume it's a guy with some sort of automatic weapon, Air 7 HD will definitely pull out of the shot because it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that at some point the CHP is going to have to do a traffic break. They're going to have to close down this freeway because what they're anticipating might be really, really dangerous for a lot of innocent bystanders here who are on the freeway. But I don't know how long a truck like this can go when both the front tires are flat and riding on rims.
Well, straight line, he'll be able to go until it just overheats and everything starts to catch fire. He won't be able to steer, but he can go straight. But what you're pointing out, I think, is exactly what's happening behind. You saw CHP is stopping traffic behind,
yeah.
And then there goes the wheel. So traffic behind is going to be kept at a safe distance. Traffic in front just continues to move along. So here's what's happening now. You see he's pulled off to the shoulder. So the people behind hopefully are going to be able to be kept away. Air 7 is going to stay at a safe distance because now we're going to see officers are at the ready, and we're going to see if this person is going to pull out. Even those people behind, though, with a high-powered rifle, an assault rifle, if that's what this is, they're still possibly at risk. So the officers have to treat this very carefully. The person is still in the vehicle, and now they, as you mentioned earlier, Colleen, we don't know how many people are in the vehicle. They don't know what he has in there, but we have been reporting there is the possibility that this person has an assault rifle, which makes this a very dangerous situation for authorities.
And we don't know if there's other suspects. We don't know if there's anybody else armed in the car. Bruce, we're watching this right now. Tell us what the officers are sort of doing right now, because we know they're doing some commands of some sort.
Yeah, they're talking to this person using verbal commands, asking them to drop the keys out, open the door as the suspect's doing, keep your hands above your head, keep them away from your waist, comply to our commands, walk back to our vehicle, or lay down in the center of the street, and then they'll do a tactical approach. But it looks like the suspect is complying.
Yeah.
Okay. That is the best of all circumstances.
It's interesting they don't have them laid down yet. But, you know, obviously they know what they're doing, and they must not see a weapon.
I'm sorry, but different agencies do different felony traffic stops. Some will call them back to the door frame of the car, and then handcuff them and search them. Others will have them lay out in the middle of the street. Others will have them go into custody right in front of the patrol car.
Not only did he comply, it seems as if through this chase, they've been able to have a pretty good idea that there's nobody else in that car. While they haven't officially cleared the vehicle, their demeanor has changed remarkably. Now they'll move forward to make sure that there's nobody else in that car. But it does look as if this is going to be a situation where they have one suspect in custody. We know at least grand theft, possibly robbery. There will be a litany of charges related to the chase itself because this suspect, we believe we saw him sideswipe several vehicles. We saw him run into the rear of several vehicles, and we've had a chase that was from Bakersfield to near Santa Monica, Cheviot Hills, down on the west side of town. Once he went down the 5 and got on the westbound side of the 10 freeway before a spike strip knocked out the front wheels of that vehicle. But it does look like they're clearing the vehicle now.
Yeah, and you know, this is going to be a big investigation. So for anyone who's trying to take that 10 west heading to Santa Monica, you are going to be in for a big headache. So try to find alternate routes because right now we know that these investigations will take a little time. And if you don't have time, you will be stuck in this. You already see that traffic. It's going to be backed up for quite a while they finish this arrest and the investigation.
Want to thank Bruce Thomas, our law enforcement expert, for joining us. We're going to wrap this up and return you to regular programming. Don't forget, Eyewitness News at 3 o'clock. We'll have the latest on this if there's any update necessary. For Colleen Sullivan, I'm Philip Palmer. We'll return you to regular programming.
This has been Eyewitness News with breaking news.